Back with another edition of Black and Gold Radio, presented by Skyhawks Sports Radio Network. Coach, first off, last week you went to Sissonville, hostile environment, homecoming. You come out with a 21-7 win. Your defense played great. Besides one broken play by the quarterback taking off and running 60 yards, that was the only time you really let them into your territory. Explain your success from Friday.
I think the defense has just grown week after week, starting with the second half of that Hoover game. And as we have explored some things, we're starting to get the personnel in the right places, and I think that showed Friday night. I thought the play to run down the quarterback was huge for Cody Harvey to stay after it, and then the goal line stand showed the maturity and character of this group of young men. Because if they punch that in, the entire second half's a completely different atmosphere. I think what happened there with that goal line stand was we broke their back. I mean, you're 2 yards away from punching it in, and you don't. And I think they came out in the second half with a lack of confidence.
On the offensive side of the ball, you all pretty much beat down in the trenches pretty hard, running the ball left and right. Only one mishap, the interception, pick six by Kurt. How well did your offense do? What was you all able to do against Sissonville that maybe you wasn't able to do against any of the other teams?
You know, I felt like offensively we moved the ball real well from 20 to 20. We stopped some of our drives with penalties, and I felt like we shot ourselves in the foot a couple of times. I think we've got to clean that up a little bit. I feel like we probably left 2 touchdowns on the field Friday night, and we talked to our young men about that. We left our defense hanging a couple of times in 3 and outs. So we've got to improve there offensively, and not so much in the scheme or the plays or the way these guys are playing, but we've got to clean it up to where we don't put ourselves in trouble with some meaningless penalties and some missed assignments at key times.
We've talked about it several times. You have a lot of explosive backs that can get in to open areas and make plays, but one guy that I think really gets overlooked a lot is Cody Harvey. Explain what it's like to have a guy like that to be able to send out there and know that he's going to give you quality touches and he's going to hang on to the ball and make a couple plays here and there.
The key thing there is he's going to hang on to the ball. Man, you know when you put it in his arms, and I don't want to jinx him, but it's like putting the ball in the bank. And it's like you're investing in it. And he's going to make plays with it as well. He had a little subtle run there in the second half that changed field position huge on a dive. He bounced it out to our sideline and turns a three-yard play into a 36-yard play. Cody Harvey's a young man that may be a featured tailback on a lot of offenses, and he's accepting that role of fullback where we move Tristan Crone up to the line, and he's just filled in wonderfully, and we're starting to see how we can expand and use his skill set in more ways than one.
Moving up into week 5 here, you're coming in, you're going to Poca this week. Poca's been down a couple of years. They had a few good years back, but they're a little bit down now. How is it? How do you keep your guys in tune? You know, most of them know that they're not a very good football team. How are you going to tell them to come into this game so they don't get complacent and kind of lower themselves down to their play?
Absolutely, and that's critical this week. You know, but what we talk about all the time is this is another step in our journey. This is the 5th step in our journey. And we don't want it to be defined by the name on somebody else's jersey. That's a meaningless, it's a faceless challenge over there to us. It's not about Poca. It's not about their record. It's not about what they do well or what they do, bad. It's about Scott High School. It's about black and gold football continuing to pursue perfection and taking the next step of this journey. And I think the maturity and leadership that we have is what's going to keep us focused. I want to make sure that our young men define Friday night, not anybody else.
What can you expect from Poca on the defense side of the ball to try to slow down your offense? It's clicking on a high caliber right now.
Yeah, actually what I think's hurting Poca's defense is their offense. They're getting 3 and outs a lot. Poca's defense in the box, to me, the front 7, looks like they play real well. They flow to the ball. They're aggressive off the ball. And we've showed our young men, are they a great defense? No. But do you got to get on and stay on? Yes. And we've got to be able to get our backs in open field space. I think Friday night what happened was we got a little lazy on seconds 3, 4, and 5 of the play. We got off the ball, we got on, there was a hole, our backs would hit it, and we would pull off on steps 3, 4, and 5, and that's when that guy was falling on the play and set it down. The challenge Friday night against Poca is stay on.
Coach, last thing, what's your keys to game whenever you come in here on Friday to make sure you get to 5-0?
Well, we can't give up big plays. Their offense has struggled to this point. We've got to make them earn. We've got to make them improve. We've got to make them earn those yards and those points. We can't give up a freebie. And offensively, we've got to help our defense out a little bit by finishing drives and putting points on the board in opportunities where we can pull away. I told these young men Friday, all week long, there's blood in the water, obviously, when you look at this opponent. But you got to smell it and go get it. And that's the goal.
All right, there it is from head coach Shane Griffith. And next we'll be with assistant coach Nick Shreve. Coach, appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Good luck.
All right, we're back with assistant coach Nick Shreve. Coach, your defense played at a high level Friday. You didn't give up any points. The score was 21-7, but the offense gave up that. Explain the keys to your success last Friday and what you were able to do to shut down the Sissonville offense.
Mainly it just falls on the guys up front. The 4 guys up front, they're just playing their position, doing what they're supposed to do, being where they're supposed to be, and keeping it clean for the linebackers to flow to and set it down. It's the same thing week in, week out. Those guys got to play big so we can use our athletes, to come downhill, make plays. And some of those young guys are not really young guys, but guys that are new to the program, haven't played for a while. They're starting to step it up and make plays on their own.
One of the keys to last week's game, you said, was contain number 7. As we saw, you all put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. You had a lot of people from your front 7 coming in, making a rush on him. I can't remember if you had too many sacks, maybe a handful. But how big of a key was that for your team the entire game to hold him down? The only thing he done was that one scramble, like we talked about, 60 yards. Other than that, he was held pretty much in check.
It's just tremendous. A kid like number 7 over there at Sissonville. He's an athlete. He can make plays. He's made several big plays in their first 3 games, and we just put a lot of emphasis on, anytime he's dropping back or rolling out, just get eyes on him and get to him.
What does it say for the identity of your team whenever you come in back-to-back weeks? You give up only 14 points and 150-some-odd yards against a rival Chapmanville, and then you go to Sissonville, especially on a hostile night of their homecoming, and you only give up 7 points, 0 points on the defensive side of the ball. Those are 2 offenses that have been known to put up points in the past, have a good running game. What does that do for not only the overall strength of your defense, but the camaraderie and the overall build of what you want to do leading up to the next week?
It's just great the ways these guys, they just keep playing. They get, we're getting better. We're getting a little bit better every week. If you go back to the first half against Hoover, we gave up 27 points. And since then, there's only been 27 points scored on us, since that point. 7, last Friday being the pick 6. But, it's just tremendous the way these guys are playing. They're just buying in. They're just buying into, doing their position, being where they're supposed to be, trusting. They just built that trust that, if I do my job, then, these guys are going to do their job. And, it's working out.
Like Coach Griffith pinpointed earlier, the big goal line stand. They were on their 2-yard line. You stuffed them short. What does that do for your defense? What does it do for them? Trying to bring their confidence up, telling them, if you do what you're supposed to do, hit your gaps, Are they finally starting to see the big picture of the big game and seeing how much this defense controls what the offense can do?
I think so. If you look at they had, I think, 10 possessions. Sissonville had 10 possessions Friday night, and We only gave up 201 yards total, and I'd say probably close to 100 of it was on 2 plays from Sissonville. These guys, and that big play that quarterback had, in all honesty, Tristan Crone should have set that down for a sack. He just missed, he missed the tackle, and that was the key. You got to set that guy down anytime he's got the ball in his hand, because he can do things like that. And then coming off of that, that puts a lot of momentum on Sissonville's side. And then the way that our guys just came together and shut them down right there for 4 plays. I mean, that's tremendous. It gives you great confidence at any level, knowing that there might be a busted play here and there that gains some yards, but when it all comes together and comes down to it, we got the grit that we can bow our heads back and keep them out of there.
All right, Coach. Now you shift to a different opponent. You shift to a Poca team that you're very familiar with. You've played for the last 10, 15 years. Some points they've been high. Some points now they've been low. What do you got to do to make sure that your defense is ready to continue to play at that high level come tomorrow night?
I mean, it's it's the same thing. I tell them week in and week out. It doesn't matter, who lines up against you. You want to stop the run, number one, and control big plays in the passing game. Get after the quarterback and shut down the run. I mean, that's just simple defense right there.
All right, that's it from assistant coach Nick Shreve. Tomorrow night, your Scott Skyhawks travel to Poca to take on the Poca Dots. Come out and support. Game time 7:30. Come out and support your second-ranked Scott Skyhawks. Thanks for watching.